Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
"34 bells ringing to remember the victims killed in the boat fire near Santa Barbara on Monday. Rescuers say their operation will now move to recovery and figuring out the cause of the fire on the Conception. The 33 passengers and one crew member who were asleep at the time are presumed dead.
Officials have recovered 20 bodies so far and found several others within the wreckage, but they are not able to recover their remains until they stabilize the boat. They say the bodies will have to be identified through DNA.
The humanity of this is very evident. The broad impact, the devastating impact on so many families and so many people and on this community is evident, and that is certainly very troubling.
Authorities say it appears the exit and the escape hatch were blocked by fire, trapping those 34 people in the sleeping quarters. So far, authorities have not confirmed on what could have started the fire. One of the victims lived right here in San Diego. Nicole was on the boat with 4 other family members.
And our 10 News reporter Laura Acevedo is live in Coronado, where worked at a local bar for several years.
And staff and regular customers were stopping here throughout the evening, remembering Nicole, a woman they say was adventurous and loved the ocean.
What were they thinking? What happened? Why did it happen? What did they wake up to? Were they awake? You know, did they even wake up?
They're questions Dominic Selga wishes he had the answers to, as he comes to accept the fact that he'll never see 5 of his family members alive again.
I've been holding on to that 1% despite everything that is against it, and I already know, in my heart that it's not there.
Selga's mom, stepdad, and 3 stepsisters were on the Conception when it caught fire. One of his stepsisters, Nicole, lived here in San Diego.
Nicole, she was amazing, good-hearted.
Worked at Nicky Rotten's bar in Coronado. Today, her co-workers mourning together, remembering a girl who loved being with her dog and always near the water.
Nicole had a special connection to the ocean and to the water and to this earth, and something I greatly respected.
Her manager says was a core member of their staff, working every position, often the person in charge of training new employees.
We're struggling, our team has been turned upside down, and it's not easy.
The staff here at the restaurant has created a GoFundMe page for the family that will now presumably have to plan for 5 funerals. You can find that link on our website, 10news.com. In Coronado, Laura Acevedo, 10 News.
So much pain for one family. Thank you, Laura. The captain of one of the Conception sister ships is speaking out for the first time. Ian Higgins is the captain of Truth Aquatic ship Vision, which is nearly identical to the Conception. 10 News reporter John Horn explains how he's defending his colleagues.
Ian Higgins decided to speak to 10 News after seeing media reports calling the Conception safety practices into question. He's now standing up for his colleagues as the community tries to figure out what went so very wrong. Ian Higgins is still trying to come to terms with what happened during Monday's wee hours on the Conception.
Is almost like having an arm ripped off or losing something that's so hard to lose. It's just unbearable.
Higgins spoke to 10 News from Santa Barbara, where he's now with his colleagues at Truth Aquatics. Higgins is captain of the company's ship named Vision, which is nearly identical to the Conception. He sent us these photos from inside the Vision, showing the emergency escape hatch from the lower deck.
Both of those vessels have 2 entries and exits. One is considered the emergency exit. It is a small exit, but it is more than enough room for any human being to pass through, and then the one is the standard entrance and exit with the stairway.
Higgins stood by the crew of the Conception, saying Captain Jerry Boylan is a stickler for safety. He says a wooden boat fire can spread faster than any human can fathom.
There's flammable things around the vessel, seat cushions, there's curtains, there's lots of different things.
The Coast Guard inspected the Conception in February and found no issues.
This vessel is required to be inspected annually by the U.S. Coast Guard, and it has been in compliance with all federal regulations. It is required to have not only fixed firefighting system, but also portable firefighting systems.
John Horn, 10 News.
We will continue to follow the latest in the investigation on the 10 News mobile app. There is a free version in the App Store.
Also tonight, it was a gruesome discovery back in August. 3 bodies found in the trunk of a car. But this evening, there has been a major development. Our 10 News reporter Matt Boone is in Paradise Hills with the announcement that a suspect is now in custody.
Well, guys, for more than a month, why those bodies ended up in a trunk here on this street remained a mystery. Until today, the U.S. attorney saying those 3 people were Chinese citizens who were smuggled across the border. The person who allegedly drove them now under arrest.
Authorities have charged this man, Neil Edwin Valera, in the deaths of 3 people who were found inside the trunk of his car, dumped on Jamie Street in Paradise Hills in early August. Residents called police on August 11th after noticing a foul smell and blood dripping from a 1999 BMW. Authorities traced it back to Valera, a 50-year-old American citizen from El Paso. He'd been living in Tijuana and working as a truck driver, according to the U.S. attorney. The victims were all Chinese citizens, including a mother and her 15-year-old son, as well as another teen girl.
They're bringing them in and saying, I can bring you across and blah, blah, blah. And then once they're in, if they don't do what they're supposed to do, they're going to die.
Marisa Ugarte is a human trafficking expert and runs the nonprofit Bilateral Safety Corridor Coalition. She doesn't know all the details in this particular case, but says it's similar to one she's worked on before, where people are brought over by trafficking groups on the false premise of asylum or a visa, but then are forced into slave labor or sex work.
So then you're sent to a massage parlor for happy endings, or you are sent to a Chinese restaurant. It could be many ways that they have to pay off that debt now incurred.
In this case, it appears that payment was death, though exactly how and why they were killed has not yet been released.
They had already crossed, so that's an interesting part. There must have been a negotiation that went wrong. Something is not right.
Now, authorities have not yet released the names of those 3 victims, saying they haven't been able to contact their family yet in China. Reporting in Paradise Hills, Matt Boone, 10 News.
Hurricane Durian is leaving behind a trail of utter devastation in the Bahamas. 7 people are now confirmed dead. Durian is threatening the eastern seaboard from Florida to the Carolinas. ABC's Elizabeth Herr is in New Smyrna, Florida.
New images from above the Bahamas showing total devastation and a humanitarian disaster. This is a look at Grand Bahama Island before, then after Durian. Much of the island now underwater.
Our priority at this time is search, rescue, and recovery.
Government officials saying there are areas first responders still cannot reach, and more than 60,000 will need food and clean water. After pounding the Bahamas for 48 hours, Durian now threatening the U.S.
Even though the hurricane has been downgraded, it is picking up speed now and has moved a little closer to us.
Millions of Americans from Florida to North Carolina remain under evacuation orders. Flood-prone areas in the Carolinas and Georgia could be fighting several feet of storm surge. And in Charleston, South Carolina, hospital workers are racing to beat the storm, trying to move as many patients as they can to higher ground before Durian arrives.
We have 10 patients that are confirmed to leave today, and there will be others today.
In Florida, Durian already grounding thousands of flights and completely shutting down several airports and knocking out power to thousands of customers and counting. So while the hurricane may have weakened from Florida to the Carolinas, the message from officials remains unchanged. The threat from Durian is far from over. Elizabeth Herr, ABC News, New Smyrna Beach, Florida.
So yes, Durian has been downgraded, but it remains a powerful hurricane. Our meteorologist Angelica Campos is still tracking the storm.
That's right, Steve, and is just now starting to slowly speed up tonight and into tomorrow, so that could very well change the areas that will be impacting. From the outer wall, you can see up to 60 miles is where the hurricane force winds are extending just outside of Florida. It is a Category 2, 110 miles per hour, and it will be moving north-northwest, impacting Florida through tomorrow night and then the Carolinas on Thursday and Friday. Rainfall could range from 5 to over 10 inches of rain, and of course, storm surge is going to be the greatest concern. And now we have a tropical storm just south of Texas and also a hurricane in the Pacific.
Thanks, Angelica. Tonight, a rescue team from San Diego is flying to the East Coast to help out during Hurricane Durian. 10 News was there today as Task Force 8 was getting a final briefing and packing up. Team members come from departments across the county. They specialize in rescues in collapsed buildings. The team is leaving from LAX for Charlotte, North Carolina.
All right, breaking news. The northbound 805 ramp is still shut down tonight in City Heights after a brush fire scorched the hillside. Fire crews are saying this was a homeless encampment that caught fire around 9 o'clock tonight. It's between the northbound 805 on-ramp and Home Avenue. No structures were threatened. Fire crews are still there, making sure all the hot spots are put out before opening the ramp back up.
Two powerful San Diego political figures face misdemeanor charges after being arrested on Labor Day. 10 News obtained videos of State Assembly member Lorena Gonzalez and County Supervisor Nathan Fletcher being marched away in handcuffs Monday. They're married to each other and attended a Labor Day rally in LA. They both sat down in the street to block an intersection. Fletcher tweeted that it was civil disobedience. There is a court date scheduled for December.